Hello everybody and welcome back to Yoga with Anna here at PCS&M Church at 63 Washington Street. I am so happy to be back after an awesome time camping with friends, our first main camping trip in the records, in the books, and it was so exciting and I got to meet so many wonderful people, and it was a nice real reset for me, and also in realizing that when you have a practice, a yoga practice, and you stop, that your aches and pains and all of that stuff that makes you uncomfortable has a tendency to come back. And I began my practice again yesterday because I was busy doing other things like lifting campfire wood and reaching and lifting and doing all sorts of things that outside of yoga, outside of my body. But after a day 24-hour return and some stretching and yoga and back to my own practice, I feel like I'm coming back to normal. So I want to thank you for holding space for me last week while I wasn't here. And I want to make some announcements. So Sandy, we miss you. I know you were here yesterday with Matt, and you mentioned that we are confirmed for Soul Saturday, September 7th with DJ Real Drama. So I'm very, very excited to have that come back, have music come back, have an awesome DJ return so that we can reconvene our Sacrament of Music on Saturdays from 12 to 3. So that's September 7th, Saturday from 12 to 3, DJ Real Drama, and we can't wait. So in the meantime, we're going to get stretching, and I guess I wanted to mention that, even though we do a slow practice here, and some people don't like slow practices or think that maybe gentle yoga might be too easy, or it's just something it's too slow for them. Sometimes when you resist and you're in a place that is like, that's just way too slow, or resist a posture, or resist just in general, it's a good reason to ask yourself why. Why are you resistant? Why am I resistant with certain practices? Or why am I resistant to a particular posture? When I do a particular posture, there's a posture or two or maybe three that I don't feel absolutely comfortable with at all. And it kind of, what has come in and what teachers have usually told me, and I do say it to my students as well, is that it is a posture you may need. And that's why you feel so comfortable in that posture. So I'm not going to mention which one because I'm not going to do it here, but that is as part of my personal practice, is to bring in postures that don't feel comfortable. Now that's not saying that cause pain, because that's something completely different. But if something feels uncomfortable in the body, I invite my students, and I invite you to explore why that feels uncomfortable in the body. It could be an emotional discomfort. If you have experienced trauma and are moving the body in a particular way, or somebody's guiding a practice and you all of a sudden come into this place of discomfort and triggering, and I think that it's a good way to explore, or to at least know where you're at with that exploration. And it's okay to not feel okay with certain postures, but it's also okay to just explore, and just like you're exploring your body, your observations of the mind, of how your mind even fluctuates when you are in discomfort. And so yoga really helps us with the way that we study ourselves and taking the time to observe our body, observe our emotions, and what may come up in the practice of movement. Sometimes, and we don't play music here while I'm teaching yoga or sharing this practice with you, but sometimes when you incorporate music and movement, that can also be triggering in some way, shape, or form. So it could stir emotions even. So when we're holding emotions, when we're holding trauma, and we begin a somatic movement or a yoga movement combined with movement music, it can stir up emotions. It could stir up emotions of joy. It can also stir up emotions of sorrow or grief. And it's okay for those emotions to come up, because it's not okay for the body to hold on to those or bottle up those emotions. So yoga gives us an opportunity to either express and keep it all on the mat, or take a moment to step aside and feel, so that we can help heal ourselves through the process of whatever we may be going through. I know that yoga has really helped me through a lot of grief, and I could say that my healing journey with yoga is what led me to yoga therapy, which is why I love yoga therapy so much, and helping people through yoga therapy, because it really taps into the root of some problems that we weren't even aware were there before. And the practice of yoga therapy is really about the exploration and helping you feel more comfortable in your body, in your emotions, in that place of discomfort. I usually quote BKS Iyengar, who says that yoga isn't a cure, but it helps endure what we cannot cure. So it really helps us to tap into those places and endure the things and use the tools of yoga to really help us navigate the things that life throws at us. So on that, we'll be doing a slow practice like we usually do. And the challenge is that you can make it as gentle or as strong a practice as you would like to make it. If this is a midweek reset, so if we've been in high stress for the first ladder of the week, and it's not going to ease because the external stress will be there, or internal. This gives us a chance to recalibrate our nervous systems, which is also what I do in yoga therapy. I help our nervous systems re-regulate by giving you the tools to practice things and to fully give you my support through the process. So with today, in resetting and regulating our nervous systems for the midweek reset, so that we can finish our week strong and confident and more grounded. So this is a grounding practice, and we'll be moving just at the flow, at the slow, at the flow, at the slow, and enjoy yourself and take a moment to feel and rest. If yoga or moving the body right now isn't what you feel like doing, or just aren't comfortable right now to move, even just lying down, whether it's on a bed, sitting in a chair, or on your mat, and breathing is yoga as well. So yoga isn't only the practice of asana or postures, that's only one limb. There are 8 more, which is one of the other ones is breath, pranayama, and the yamas and niyamas, which we're also reconvening in September. So look for those dates in September coming up. Again, Soul Saturday and the Yamas and Niyamas book circle is reconvening in that. So those 2 limbs are also a part of it. So let's begin with accessing our breath, and let's lie down. Let's begin by lying down on our backs, finding a comfortable position, whether on a mat or sitting down on a chair. Inviting you to close your eyes, take your arms by your side, or place them wherever they're comfortable for you. Softening your gaze or closing your eyes, and beginning with the awareness of breath. Letting the breath just be, and letting us be the observers of our body, of our breath body. our emotional body. How is it that we're feeling today? What is it that you need today to reset your system so that you can move forward much more comfortably in your emotional body and your physical body? As we tap into our breath awareness, begin to notice the diaphragm expand and contract with your breath. So the belly will fill up like a balloon and deflate like a balloon. Let the belly push your palms if your hands are on your tummy. Drawing on those deeper breaths. And as the breath ebbs and flows through the body with the help of the diaphragm, just noticing that you are getting that full breath and feeding your body more oxygen, more of what it needs in taking these deep breaths. I invite you to let the gaze soften or close your eyes, to bring the gaze inward. And then we're going to travel that awareness down towards our feet, the base of our feet, the heels. How do your feet feel today? Are they sore? Are they okay? Are your toes cramping? And if you feel any tension in the feet, draw the breath down towards the feet, through the heels. And let the toes fall open, letting your feet go, just flop. If at any point your body feels like yawning, just allowing that to happen. Not holding it in, not holding it back. And that letting that awareness travel to the ankles. And if at any point you need to shift or feel like you need to move, I invite you to do so. So just noticing what you feel in the ankles. Let that awareness travel up through the calves to the knees, front of the legs, backs of the legs. Noticing any subtleties you may be feeling. Letting the awareness travel to the hips, the base of the spine, your root chakra. And then traveling to the low back, or also just below the navel, and just noticing what you feel there. What do you feel in this region here, in the low back and just below the navel where your sexual organs are. That's where your creativity lies, your emotions, your sexuality. Just noticing what you feel in that area. And then let's travel that awareness to the center, the solar plexus, or the navel area, being the solar plexus just above the navel and between the heart. All surrounding your digestive organs, your liver, your gallbladder, and just noticing what's going on. Is your stomach gurgling or growling? Are your intestines moving? Are you dealing with indigestion? Noticing any discomfort or comfort in the area. This is where your confidence lies, your strength, your perseverance, your assurance of self. Traveling the awareness to the heart space, where your lungs are, where your heart lies. And awareness behind the scapulas on the backside body. The heart center, where we come to through our relationships, whether our relationships are given through love or a closure of the heart because we have experienced pain. Just noticing the sensitivities in the heart space, your lungs, back of the rib cage as your breath expands the rib cage. Feeling those intercostal muscles. And while we're here at the heart space, sending yourself some love, and sending love to whomever you feel may need it, and sending love to the world because we need it. Then traveling that beautiful awareness to the throat. The throat chakra, area of communication. An area where we also sense emotions. The physical feeling of emotions through the throat. Observing if you have been able to communicate clearly, or if you're having a tough time communicating. Just noticing. Noticing if you have spoken your truth. And then traveling the awareness to the third eye chakra. our place of intuition and sense, subtle body sense. And then traveling that awareness to the crown, top of the head. So we have journeyed through the body. Let your wisdom body tell you what you need today in today's movement, in today's practice. Inviting you to set an intention for your practice. And then on the next breath, maybe bringing the knees into chest if that feels good, or taking a full body stretch. We'll do both. A rock side to side, and a full body stretch. Knees into chest, rock it out side to side. Slight tuck of the chin. And then bringing the hands on the knees, beginning to circle the hips. And take it in the opposite direction. And then if you want to gently separate the knees and draw circles with the knees, creating more movement in the hips. A little different variation of movement. And then taking the legs up to the sky, maybe flexing the feet, pointing and rotating the ankles. Arms can be in any way that feels comfortable to you. Cycle the legs. Just small or slow movements going in the opposite direction, backwards and forwards. Maybe flexing and pointing the feet just like you do on a bicycle, creating some mobility in the ankles. And then circling the ankles. And then floating the feet back to the mat, to the floor, sliding them away, full body stretch. Arms by your side or into a T, however you feel comfortable. Take the knees up, bending the knees. And you can either keep the feet hip distance apart or take them wide to the mat and windshield wiper side to side. Coming back to center, setting up for a little bridge movement here as we focus on the hips and warm up the spine a little bit on our backs. On the next breath, gently tilting the hips back on the inhale. And on the exhale, rotating the hips forward. Inhale. Take the hips back, create an arch in the spine. Exhale, creating a flat low back as you take the hips forward. Inhale, rotate back, taking it to a posterior tilt, and then rotating it forward, taking it into an anterior tilt. Continue with your breath. A few more breaths here. Press the feet into the mat as you rotate hips back, hips forward. So notice here as I arch back, creating that space in the low back. And then as you take the hips forward, no room at all, taking the spine flat. A couple more. And then come back to neutral spine. Really setting up for bridge now, taking the heels as close as you can to the buttocks. Maybe fingers graze, and it's okay if they don't reach, just setting yourself up in that bridge pose with knees bent, feet flat, about hip distance apart. On the inhale, we're going to lift the hips up and the arms are going to follow. Nice deep breath in as we inhale, hips up, arms follow. And exhale, lower everything back down. Inhale, hips rise, arms rise. Exhale, everything falls back down to the mat. Follow the breath. Two more. And last one here. And hold. If you would like to take a bind elbow to elbow as you press the hips up, take the chest towards the chin, press the knees forward. Gently lowering the hips all the way down to the mat, arms follow, knees to chest. Squeeze in like a tight little ball. As much as possible, tuck the chin and squeeze, draw those shoulders back. Flex the feet or relax the feet. Getting a nice stretch in the low spine. From here, gently releasing and maybe taking the hands in a cactus position, or if you're comfortable, just bringing them down. A little bit of core work here. I'm going to extend my right arm back for support, and we're going to take the knees over to the right side and let them hover. Pull the navel in. Nice deep breath in and exhale. Take it to center. Exhale. So if it helps to stabilize your balance with arms to a T, you can do that. So let those knees hover. Nice deep breath in. Take it to center and exhale. Take it to the other side. Inhaling in to center, exhaling, going to the left side. Take it slow, or you can move a little faster than I am. I'll let you do it. Let's bring it back to center. All right, from here, take another squeeze in, full body stretch. And then bending the knees. Again, focused on the core. We're going to take our hands, interlace the fingers behind our head and support our head. This is really good if you have any herniated discs or bulging discs, to keep the spine neutral and engaging the core. So gently lifting the shoulders and the head, and then gently lowering down. Lift that left leg up, and same thing, lifting the head and shoulders and dropping back and lowering. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders. Exhale, lower. Take that right leg up. Inhale. Lifting the head and shoulders. And exhale, drawing everything back. Let's do that left side. And right side. And from here, lift both knees and gently lift the neck and shoulders, supporting the head, legs parallel to the floor. All right, so here we go. Gonna take the knees to one side while we keep our abdomen engaged. Just take it as far as it's comfortable for you. And then coming back together. So this is a little harder because we're not supporting our body with our arms. And it's slow, so it's challenging us to slow down. And if this doesn't feel comfortable in doing that little crunch, you can lower the head. Do what's comfortable for you. We're going to do one more set, taking it to the right and to the left. And then from here, coming back to center, releasing the arms, taking a full body stretch. And then bend the knees, roll over to one side, and gently press yourself by walking the hands, using the hands to lift your body. All right, so let's come to a tabletop position. Stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Let's curl the toes under and gently take the hips back and walk the hands forward. Melt the heart towards the mat or towards the floor. Take a little bow. Shift the hips back towards the heels. And then gently coming back to your table. Let's do hip circles here, giving the hips some movement. And when you're ready, let's come into a child's pose. So option 2, just take the hips back and take a little child's pose just so, or draping your arms and grounding your third eye. Or you can take the knees wide to the mat, let the toes touch, shift the hips back, and extend the arms forward, melting the heart towards the mat. Maybe grounding your third eye. So if the head's hanging, let it be supported by a pillow, a towel, a blanket, or a block. If this head position is not comfortable, you can take your head to one side. And then switch sides. If you've shifted your head, bring it back to center so that you can walk your hands over to the right side. Shifting that left hip towards the left heel. Walk it to center, walk it to the other side. You may notice one side might feel tighter than the other. And it's all okay because we're giving both sides some love. Walk it back to center when you're ready. And then bring yourself back down, lowering the heart. Grounding the third eye. While here, bring the palms together to press together. Bend the elbows, bring the hands between the shoulder blades. And walk the forearms forward to get a nice tri-stretch. Shift the hips back. That'll also help the stretch. Adjust if you need to. If you feel like adjusting or moving your body in a different way. Again, do what's comfortable for you. You're welcome to stay just in child's pose with arms extended or bend the elbows. From here, gently releasing. Gazing at the top of the mat and walking those hands back towards your knees. and coming back to your tabletop. All right, from here, let's curl the toes under. Press into a down dog. Press the heart towards the thighs. Gaze between the ankles, keeping the arms as parallel as possible to the head. Heels do not have to touch the mat. And then we walk our dog, lifting one heel after the other. Nice deep breaths. And if it feels good to exhale through the mouth, inviting you to do so. No one's listening. No one's listening. On the next breath, lift the heels high, bend the knees, take a hover, or take the knees all the way down to the mat, depending on what you're comfortable with. Pull the navel in. Press back to your down dog. Take a nice deep breath and exhale. Heels high, bend the knees, switch the gaze, and then lower the knees. Extend the arms forward, taking the forearms to the mat, and then we're going to drop the body down to the mat. Coming into a Sphinx pose. So option to take the legs wider as opposed to zipping the legs up. Taking the legs wider will decompress the low spine. So feel free to do that if that feels comfortable. So you're taking the elbows right underneath the shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide, gripping the mat, and you're gazing forward. On the inhale, you're going to feel the hips press into the mat, heart leads forward, shoulders back, lengthening through the crown. There's your Sphinx. Press 10 toes in. So from the bottom up, toes press in, hips press into the mat, heart slides forward, forearms nice and nicely supporting your body. And then gently coming back to a neutral position. And hands underneath the shoulders, and then slide them by your side. We're going to do some back strengthening here. So chin is going to come to the mat. Let me just stretch out my cervical spine for a moment, ground my third eye. And then chin to mat. We're going to do full locust here. On the inhale, everything's going to lift off the floor. So arms and legs are going to lift. Take a nice deep breath in, and everything lifts. Arms lift, legs lift, chest rises, and lower. Take the left cheek to mat, and let it go. If it feels good to bend the knees and windshield wiper, you can. Or just find your stillness. Second set, chin comes back to the mat. And we're going to take another deep breath in, and everything's going to lift. Ready, set, go. Lift, legs lift, arms lift, chest rises and lifts. And exhale, let everything go. Right cheek to the mat. You did it. Again, you can bend the knees if you want to release some tension in the legs. Or circles, whatever you liked, whatever movement you want to bring. Coming back to center, hands underneath the shoulders, and we're going to do a second set of Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath the shoulders. On the inhale, 10 toes press, hips press, heart slides forward, arms nice and engaged. And it's almost like you're pulling the mat towards you with your palms without moving your hands. So that's really going to gently help you slide that heart forward. One more breath here. And release. Hands come underneath the shoulders, curl the toes under, gently pressing to a tabletop. And let's cat-cow on the inhale, just bringing in some more spinal movement. We're going to extend, take the gaze up to the sky. And on the exhale, you can either come to neutral spine or round into flexion. Inhaling, extending, exhaling gently, rounding in. And coming back to neutral spine. Curl the toes under. Let's come back into our down dog. Pressing your hips up, heart towards the thighs. And let's walk our feet to meet our hands at the top of the mat. Take a forward fold. Ragdoll here, letting the upper body do all the work with gravity, letting you feel nice and heavy. If you want a deeper stretch, you can either step on your fingers, and if you're going to do this, take a nice deep breath in and lengthen like you're going into a half lift. And on the exhale, you're going to bend the elbows towards the shins and take that forward fold. Pull the navel in. Another option is just either stepping on the heels or taking the hands to the backs of the heels or ankles and taking your forward fold just so. And then just let your arms dangle. You can ragdoll the whole time if you'd like. Let your body sway, take a bind. All up to you and what feels good to you right now. Release the bind if you've taken it, any. Hands on the shins, come to a half lift. Take those shoulders back, pull the navel in, tilt the tail, and then let's root to rise, come all the way up. Let your palms touch and palms come to heart. So just take a moment here. You can take that gaze inward. And what we're doing here, standing in mountain, is observing. Noticing your heart rate. Noticing if anything has shifted in the digestive system. Just noticing. Noticing if anything emotional has shifted. No judgment, just observation. Listening to your wisdom body. Nice deep breath in. Let's extend the arms up. Reach back. Exhale, forward fold. Palms together or swan dive down. Inhale, hands on the shins. Exhale, plant the palms. Let the right foot step back. Take a low lunge. Inhale, arms come up. Reach up and gently reach back. Press through that front big toe. And then from here, float the hands down and gently heel toe that left foot, coming into a lizard pose. So we're taking a nice stretch of the hip. You're very welcome to stay right here. You're very welcome to use a block as well. So what we're going to do here is lower down slowly. So the block helps you gradually come down. So you can use 1 or 2 blocks. Let me readjust. So this is why I hope you all get blocks, because it really helps. So if you haven't done this in a while and the flexibility in your flexors and your hips are feeling tight, just hang in there, hang high, and this is where you are. And it's all good to be where you're at. If you want to come down a little lower, let it be gradual. So sometimes it takes a few breaths to get into one side or the other or both. And then you can begin to lower, even take your foot to one side. Gazing at the top of your mat. Slowly easing into the stretch. From here, if you've tilted your foot out, bring it back flat. Hands underneath the shoulders. And then we're going to gently shift back. All right, so something a little different. We're going to walk the hands further. And we're going to pivot that back knee and take a seat. Right sole of the foot into the inner right thigh. Take a nice deep breath in. And gently reach for that left foot as you rotate towards that left thigh. And reach over and take your forward fold. Gently dropping that right shoulder down. And gently lifting back up. And lowering the arms, lifting your body up. So you can get into this position any way that's comfortable for you. I'm going to lift my body up. Heel toe my foot back. Pivot that back knee. And then from here, I'm going to curl my toes under, heel toe that front foot back to center. And then I'm going to take a little balancing pose here. Take a nice deep breath and lift that back knee, open up to the left side. Press through that back heel. Pull the navel in, rotate that rib cage up towards the sky. And then gently float back down. All right, we can do a chaturanga here, or you can step that back foot forward, whatever you would like. I'm going to bring my foot back. And we can drop the knees down or take a dive with the chest and gently lift back up. Find your down dog, whatever's comfortable for you. And walk the feet to meet the hands. Take your forward fold. Gentle roll all the way up. Inhale, arms come up. This time, swan dive down. Inhale, hands on the knee, on the shins for your half lift. And exhale, plant the palms. Left foot steps back. All right. Coming into a low lunge, arms come up, reach back. And gently bracket that front foot. So let's heel toe that foot to the outer edge, and we'll get into that right flexor.
take your time. Just to fit everything in, I'm going to go a little bit faster, but you take your time and do what's comfortable for you. Again, this isn't comfortable, so you're exploring the discomfort in the body, not pain, just discomfort. If it's really tight, notice your abdominals, pull the navel in. And then gently bring those hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to do that pivot where that back knee is going to switch. I'm going to walk my hands back. Left sole of the foot into the right inner thigh. Take a nice deep breath in. Turn towards that right thigh and reach. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, lower down. Forehead towards the knee. Drop that left shoulder down and release. Arms come up, float them down. Gently find your way back to where you were. Heel toe that foot back to center. And let's take our balancing twist. So we're going to extend that back leg, lift that back knee and open up to the right side. Take the rib cage, rotate it up towards the sky. Press through that back heel. Take the gaze up or straight ahead. And gently lower. Let's take that front foot back. Lower the knees. A little half push up here. And come to a child's pose. Walk the hands towards the knees. Shift the hips to one side. Swing the legs around. And we're back down to our mat. You can place your hands on your knees and find your way back. Squeeze in. Extend that left leg, right knee to chest, flex both feet. Tuck the elbows, tuck the chin, and take your twist. Right knee to the left side, right arm extends, gazing over to the right side. Coming back to center, squeeze in, full body stretch. Reach for that left knee to chest. Flex both feet, lengthen through that right leg, slight tuck of the chin. Find your twist, take that knee to the right side body, left arm extends. Gazing towards the left side. And come back to center. Squeeze back in. Full body stretch. Bend the knees. Windshield wiper if you want to release the hips. Or if you just want to move the lower half of your body. And then keep the knees bent. We're going to do a supine pigeon. Taking that right ankle to the top of the left thigh and weave the hands underneath that left thigh. Interlace the fingers and gently pull as you flex both feet. Slight tuck of the chin. Maybe that right elbow helping you open that right hip. Bring in the compassion here. But also exploring that tightness you feel around the hip. Again, we've done some hip work, and the sacral chakra is where our emotions, a lot of our emotions lie. So they do say that our hips have a tendency to hold our emotions. So if you do happen to have an emotional release, it might be because we did some hip work today, which helps release some of that emotion. Release. Bring the soles of the feet down, windshield wiper to reset the hips. And repeat opposite side. Left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Weave the hands through the legs, interlace the fingers underneath that right thigh, flex both feet, pull. Slight tuck of the chin. Snap, crackle, pop, pop if you feel that. It's your body adjusting. Breathe nice and deep. And if you feel like extending your leg up, you can. If you want to rock a little bit, you can. It's all about those micro movements to find your comfortable place, but still getting a nice stretch. And release. Soles of the feet back down, windshield wiper to reset. And legs up to the sky. Option here to support your low back. Your sacrum with a block to take the legs up. This is wonderful for sleeping or for insomnia to help you sleep. Legs up the wall, supported by a chair or supported by the couch, wherever you feel comfortable lifting the legs. Stay here for 7 minutes for 7 days and you'll sleep like a baby. Or try it and let me know. All right, so we're gonna float the feet down. You're welcome to stay right there. Find your comfortable place and maybe a full body stretch to ease yourself into your Shavasana. Remembering this practice is always here for you. You can stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. As I press myself up, you stay there. Allow the body to fully relax, letting the toes fall open, hips heavy. And take your time in your Shavasana, most important posture of all. So if you're going to come out of Shavasana, a little wiggle of the toes and the fingers, and maybe taking a full body stretch or knees to chest. And then rolling over to your right side for a moment, cradling your head, pressing all the way back up to seated, and meeting me with our hands at the heart. So it was a short Shavasana today, but like I said, stay there as long as you like. To seal class together today, please join me in bringing our prayer hands to our third eye as a reminder to think kind thoughts, to our lips to speak kind words, and back down to our hearts as a reminder to live life fully with love, joy, inner strength, lots of courage, and lots of grace. Remember to take the time for yourself to reset. Thank you for joining me and resetting with me this week. Namaste.